Hello dear friends, I hope you have started your study and you also enjoyed previous lectures. In previous lecture we also studied the various example of group. See, once you understand the definition of group, means 4 conditions in the definition of groups, then you understand thoroughly the examples of group, then you will understand neatly next part of this chapter. Like after that we are going to study subgroup, normal subgroup, quotient group. After that there is a function we can call as a homomorphism function. Then after we are going to study ring. So this definition of group and examples of group are very important to you. In today's lecture we are going to study some properties of group regarding identity element and inverse. Again, I would like to advise you should go through some more examples, like example given in book regarding Zn. Zn is a set of all residue classes, or we can say set of all residue classes of integers under modulo n, and here we use binary operation, and that operation is addition. You try to go through the example by taking n equal to, say we start from 5, then n equal to 6, n equal to 7, like that, and try to show Zn under binary operation addition, whether it is group or not. It is definitely group, but you should prepare composition table. You should try to check all 4 properties of group, and same thing you have to do for Zn dash. What is Zn dash? Set of all prime residue classes modulo n. That is also group under multiplication, that you have to check. I hope you will enjoy this subject and you know importance of this subject. This is very important in various search engine algorithm like Google search engine, and in cryptography this is also important. So let us start our topic. Now let us start properties of the group. So first we take the theorem regarding this. If G is a group with binary operation star, but if binary operation is not mentioned, then by default we can take as a usual multiplication. Means instead of writing A star B, we just take AB. So then first claim is identity element, in short we write ELT, of G is unique. Second thing is every element of G, every element of G has unique inverse in G. Third is we have to prove A inverse of inverse is A. This is not true for particular A, but for all A belongs to J. This is a symbol of for all A. Then this is also called reverse law of inverses. AB bracket inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse. This is not only true for some pair AB, but for all pairs belong to G. Again note that if G is a group, then identity element is unique, roughly we can say. Then second property is every element has unique inverse. So in short, here we have to prove identity element is unique. Suppose there are two identity elements, rough discussion, E and E dash. Then our job is to show E equal to E dash. Here also, suppose we consider there is some element which has two inverses, then our job is to show these two inverses are not different, they are same. For third, we can take this is as a inverse into A, that is equal to E. This we have to prove. So let us start our because proof may be asked. First, let E and E dash be identity element in G. So we can write as a E is identity element. So since E is identity element, so we can write by the definition of identity element, E dash E equal to E dash equal to E A dash, since here E is work as a identity element. So this is, we can say, denote as 3. Moreover, we can write this thing as a E dash equal to E dash. E dash is also identity element. So by the definition of identity element, we can write as a E dash equal to E equal to E dash E. This is the definition of identity element. So if you observe, we can focus on first equality, E dash equal to E. This is a 6. So from 4 and 6, right hand side is equal. So from 4 and 6, we can say that since right hand sides are equal, then left hand sides are equal, right hand side must be equal, and this we want. That's why we can say identity element of G is unique. So identity element of G is unique. So next part of the proof, what is the statement? Every element of G has unique inverse. So how we have to prove? Instead of unique, suppose two inverses. So again let A be any element in G, and suppose A has two inverse, or we can say inverses, say B and C. So by the property of inverse, what is property of inverse? B is called inverse of A if AB equal to E equal to BA. By the definition of inverse. A has two inverses. This, so B is also inverse. That's why we can write as a this statement. Moreover, and suppose this is statement 1. A has second inverse is B. Sorry, C. C is also inverse of A. So we can write as, by the definition of inverse, AC equal to E equal to CA. This suppose we denoted by 2. Then our job is, we have considered two inverses B and C. We try to write or try to show these two inverses are not different, they are same, means uniqueness will be proved. What we want? B equal to C. This we require. So we start from B. Now consider B. B can be written as EB, is identity element, and from this we can, suppose we focus on this equality, E can be written as CA. By the property of associativity, we can shift this bracket. And what is AB? From 1 we can say as a E only, so that is nothing but C. So B equal to C. So A has unique inverse, B and C are not different. So in this way we can prove the second property. So what is third property? Third property, that we have to prove A inverse of inverse is equal to A for all A belongs to G. So it is enough to prove A inverse into A, this is A inverse, into A equal to E for all A belongs to G. Are you getting this one? again, if you do not understand, you just understand the basic concept regarding inverse of matrix. Suppose B is the inverse of A, then we can show B is the inverse of A if AB equal to identity. So same way we have to show the A inverse is equal to B, means B into A equal to identity. It is enough to prove that B into A equal to identity. And we know if A is element in G, then we can easily say A inverse is equal to E is equal to A inverse A, because G is a group we have given, A is the element of G, that is also given. So G satisfies inverse property, so A must have a inverse, and that inverse is say denoted by A inverse. So their product is E. So just focus on A inverse is equal to E. So we can write as E A inverse post multiply by inverse, and that is nothing but the A inverse is equal to A, because if you multiply by E, it will not affect the property of identity element E into some element. That product is nothing but the original element where we have to multiply. So in this way we succeed to show the equality for A is any element in G. Now once you understand this thing, you can easily understand what we have to do in fourth property. In fourth property, we want AB bracket inverse is equal to B inverse A inverse for all AB belongs to G. We have given, say, A and B are element in G. Again, once you understand previous third part, here also we have given this is as a, say, triangle inverse is nothing but the B inverse A inverse. This is element as a, say, rectangle. If you replace AB by triangle, then we have to show triangle inverse is equal to rectangle. So it is enough to show triangle into rectangle is equal to identity element, and is equal to rectangle into triangle. Here triangle is nothing but the AB, rectangle nothing but B inverse A inverse. So consider triangle means AB, rectangle means B inverse A inverse. So by the property of associativity, we can write as a B inverse A inverse. This we can write as a B inverse A, B inverse A inverse. This we can write as a B inverse is nothing but the identity element E, normally denoted as E, A inverse. Again property of identity element A into E, E is nothing but the A only. See, E is a identity element. We know the property in Q dash, or we can say Q star, that is a group under multiplication. So, and identity element is 1 there. So, you can consider as a 1, this is A into 1 as a A. And then A into A inverse is a E. So, we start our journey from this triangle to rectangle, reach up to E. So, we can say AB inverse, this is work as a inverse, sorry, this is nothing but the B inverse A inverse for all AB belongs to G. We can generalize this result. In general, A1, A2, A3, dash dash AN. If you take the product, these are element and there is a product of all element. These AIs belong to G. Their inverse is written as here. Here you will go reverse way, B and then A. So reverse way is last is AN and inverse, AN minus 1 inverse, dash 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 A2 inverse, A1 inverse. For all AI belongs to G, I varying from 1 to N. Now we take very important theorem. I hope you understand this result. Next theorem is cancellation law. Cancellation law. What is the statement? Let G be a group and AB elements in G, ABC, these 3 elements in G. Then first AB equal to AC if this is given. Then it implies B equal to C. Second is if BA equal to CA implies B equal to C. See, this is cancellation law. These elements are not just real number. It may be matrices also, or any say functions or permutations like this. So this law is very important, especially in integral domain. This law also used. We can cancel A, but in a proper way. Here this is called left cancellation law, since A occur on left hand side and here A occur on right hand side of B and C, that's why this is called right cancellation law. So we have given ABC element of G's group, this is we have given, and binary operation by default usual multiplication is A star B equal to AB. So how we have to prove? So let us start. In short, we write PF means proof. We have given if AB equal to AC, and what we want, our target is B equal to C. This is given. So since we have also given ABC element in G is a group, so A belongs to G implies A inverse is also belongs to G, and that because by the inverse property. So pre-multiply by A inverse. To 1. So we get A inverse AB equal to A inverse AC. So by the property, associative property, we can give the bracket to this one. We can give bracket here also, open bracket here, but we are, our target is B, to show B equal to C. That's why we take A inverse A B here bracket is equal to A inverse A, like this. What is A inverse A? EB equal to A inverse A is also E, EB equal to EC. But what is EB? That is B. So we can write as B equal to C. So in this way we can, so we have start from equation 1 and we reach up to equation 2. Same thing we have to do for this second. So that is good exercise for you. You can say homework. Here we have, I give the hint, post multiply. Hint, post multiply. Here we pre multiply. By what? By A inverse, so that A will be removed and B equal to C will be removed. So theorem. Now we come to the conclusion about cancellation law. Now again next theorem, that is also depend on cancellation law. So just write the statement. Let G be any group, or not necessary any, G is a group, and A and B, these are two elements in G. Then ax equal to b have unique solution. Such type of problem may be asked in exam. Instead of writing total word solution, I just write SOL n in G. We have to show it has unique solution. Means we have to show both things. It has solution and unique solution. Second is YA equal to B have unique solution. Here X on right hand side of A and Y is left hand side of A. That's why two problems are different. So let us go for first problem. What is proof of first? Since we have given equation Ax equal to B have a solution, this equation have a unique solution. Means we have to solve, means we have to find the value of x. Always solve means we have to find the value of unknown. A and B are here. We have already given that they are some numbers, we can say, in G. If G is a group, a set of some numbers, say real numbers or like that. So if you pre-multiply by A inverse, we have to find the value of x, means we have to write x on left hand side. So we have to remove this A. This A will be removed by pre-multiplying by A inverse. So A inverse Ax equal to B, that is A inverse. I try to write properly. A inverse B, pre-multiply by A inverse on both sides. Use the associative property. So what is associative property? Here we can write the bracket. But what is A inverse A? That is identity. Again, so A inverse into A equal to E. So remaining thing like it is Ex, nothing but the x. So x is equal to A inverse B. So we succeed to express or find the solution, means find the value of x unknown, that is A inverse B, and that is which is solution of, so this is as 1. But we have to now, next job is we have to prove this is unique solution. There is no 2 solution, 3 solution like that. So how we can prove uniqueness? See, in this problem we are trying to solve this. There are 2 problems, first and second. In first problem there are 2 parts. First part is we have to try to find existence of solution of this equation that we already studied. Solution exists and that can be expressed as A inverse B. Now remaining part is uniqueness. So how we can prove uniqueness? So again, for uniqueness, let or it is better to have to write suppose, so that we can, our supposition will be wrong, like this. Suppose C and D are two solutions, or are solutions. In short, we can write SOLN, solution of AX equal to B. So C is a solution, so we can write, so C is a solution, means we can replace X by C. AC equal to B. D is also solution, so we can write AD equal to B. Suppose this is a 2, this is a 3. So right hand sides are equal of 2 and 3. Using 2 and 3, we get right hand side equal, left hand side must be equal. So AC equal to AD. Here note that A is a element of G. C and D are also element of G, but I am focusing on A. A is element of G, A inverse must be exist. So why we are doing this job? Because again we have, suppose there is no unique solution, suppose two solutions are there, C and D, but to prove the uniqueness we should come to the conclusion like C equal to D. That's why we are trying this one. So obviously to remove A we have to apply pre-multiply by A inverse. Then we get A inverse AC equal to A inverse AD. So we get by cancellation law C equal to D. So unique solution we can say for given problem. This is just part of one, same part we have to do. Similarly for this, similarly for YA equal to B. That is good homework to you. Euler's torsion function. This is very important in number 3. This is though we learn in FIBC, but since it is important, I would like to revise this. So the function phi, it is normal integer phi, that's not from set of natural number to set of natural number n, and defined by phi of n equal to, that is number, means, and that is also nothing but the cardinality of the set. This is the notation of cardinality. So cardinality means number of element in the set. So we have to take such a integer such that they are lies between A to n, and GCD of A and n is 1. This is also called relatively co-prime. Meaning of this is, in other words, relatively co-prime to n. A is relatively co-prime to n. Mathematically we can write this. So suppose we have to calculate phi of 10. So we have to find the cardinality of such a element. They are, but which element? We have to take the all the element. Here n is equal to 10, starting from 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we have to select such a element from this list that the number element and 10, that is they are relatively co-prime, that element and 10 both having GCD 1. So 1 and 10, GCD of 1 and 10 is 1. So we have to select this one. 2 and 10, n is equal to here 10. 2 and 10, GCD, is it 1? No, it is 2. Not equal to 1. So we have to reject this. We have to reject 2. GCD of 3 and 10 is 1. So we have to select it. GCD of 4 and 10 not 1. So reject it. The GCD of 4 and 10 is 2. GCD of 5 and 10 is 5. So we have to reject this 5 also. GCD of 6 and 10 is not 1, it is 2. So we have to reject 6 also. GCD of 7 and 10 is 1. So we have to select this one. GCD of 8 and 10 is 2, not 1. We have to reject this 8. GCD of 9 and 10, that is 1. So we have to select. GCD of 10 and 10 is 10. So we have to reject this. So how many numbers remain? GCD is 1. So 1, 3, 7 and 9. So we can write this thing in a proper way. Cardinality of, here only 4 elements are remaining. 1, 3, 7, 9. So there are 4 elements. So this set having cardinality is 4. So phi of 10 is 4. Similarly phi of 7. Again check the cardinality of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So GCD of 1 and 7 is 1. So we have to select it. GCD of 2 and 7 is 1. We have to select it. 3 and 7 is 7. We have to select it. 4 and 7, select it. 1. 5 and 7 is also GCD 1. 6 and 7 GCD 1. 7 and 7 GCD is not 1. It is 7. So we have to reject this last element. So only 6 elements are there. So cardinality is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 elements. We already rejected last one. So cardinality of 7 is 6. In general, cardinality of any prime number, that is p minus 1. Here 7, 6. 5, see, check it. That is 4. Except 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. All these 4 numbers having GCD 1 or they are relatively co-prime with 5.